Yes. Hello. Welcome. Thank you for joining me in the webinar. It's always good to broadcast to worldwide to all the people that speak English. So thank you for joining me. I hope you will enjoy it. It's going to be a lovely theme tonight about being your own ideal father and mother. I've made it quite practical, so you know what to do, what you can do with it, and it's quite fun. That's what I think, at least. When I have discussed the theme about the ideal father and mother, then after that we're going to do the MIR-Method together, and doing it as a group, it works stronger, so that's wonderful. And because we have discussed the theme first, then when we do the MIR-Method, it will integrate much stronger in your own subconscious. So lovely. I'm glad you joined me so that it can work for you. If you are new here, I always start with a theme. So I discuss something, I use a presentation, I show slides, and after that we're going to do the 9 steps. So thank you for being here, and I hope you enjoy it and want to join me more often. And if you have been here before, thank you for coming back again. And I hope it will inspire you again. All right, let me open the presentation. Whoop. Where is it? There is it. There it is. If you are a MIR-Method coach, by the way, thank you for working with your client and for looking at the deep root causes of the complaints. I'm very happy that you do that work. And that way the complaints will be gone much sooner, because a MIR-Method coach can use muscle testing. They can feel with their own body, their own subconscious, what is exactly the root cause with the client. So then when you take out this root cause, the complaints go away much quicker. So that's awesome work, and I'm glad the MIR-Method coaches are doing that. Thank you for that. All right, about the theme of tonight, being your own father and mother. To be able to do that, to be your own ideal father or mother, we need to look back at your youth. So how did you grow up? The first one is, I'm going to show you, if you would like to take out a piece of paper first and hold this piece of paper sideways and start writing here, because if you do it their way, you might end up having not enough space. So please write it this way. Just some practical instructions. I'm showing you this whole scheme, all these words, but I'm going to break it up in little portions and little pieces. So not to worry. All right, the first little thing is, how did you grow up? There are 3 major ways to grow up. The first one is not such a good one, that is being controlled. So you're being controlled all the way with every step you do. Somebody is controlling you, correcting you, telling you what to do. So this can be father or mother or both. And that means that when you went to the swimming pool, did you have pack your swimming trunks? Do you have your food with you? Do you have your money to get into the swimming pool? When you come home, they ask, did you eat? Did you eat enough? Did you finish all your sandwiches? You have to be in bed by 8, so hurry up now. And if you go to a party, you have to be home at a certain time. So every single step of the way, you're being controlled and being told what to do. That's quite, it's like a prison. So a youth like that feels like a prison. You can't do so much. The second one is freedom with guidance. That means that you are free to play as a child, free to go places, to have some adventures. And when your parents think it's too much, then they guide you. Then they say, okay, well, maybe it's a good idea that you don't go any further now. Wait until you're a little bit older, or be careful so they warn you. So you have freedom, but you have some guidance too. That's quite a balanced youth. And the third one is the opposite, and that is when you are neglected as a child. So the parents are busy, occupied, and they don't care so much about what you're doing, where you are, what time you come home, what you eat or drink. And that's not such a good way to grow up either. So the first one and the last one are the problematic ways to grow up. Now I'm going to look at the effect of this. The effect of being controlled is that you become dependent. So when your every step is controlled, you start to become a bit fearful and you start to depend on your father or mother very much. So every step is like, would my mother approve? Would my father approve? So it's so it makes you hesitant and fearful, makes you dependent on father or mother. The middle one, the freedom with guidance, gives you makes you healthily dependent. I don't know if that's correct English, but healthily dependent is like, it's good. It's a good thing when people are dependent on each other, because we live in a society, we work together, we live together. People need each other. So being dependent on other people is fine. So healthily dependent. So that's quite a good one. It's a very balanced one. The third one is being neglected. So when you're neglected, you become too independent, meaning you will say things like, oh, I don't need help. No, I don't need anybody to come for me. I can do this all by myself. I can do this. Yeah, I don't need anybody. So these are the people that are too independent. The effect of this is that when you are dependent, so the first one, you might develop a fear of disapproval, which is quite fearful. When you look at it biologically, when there's a herd of animals, when there's an animal being disapproved, which is a bit strange in the animal world, but just imagine, suppose one of the animals is disapproved of and is thrown out of the herd, that can be life-threatening, because an animal on its own, outside of the herd, can be in danger. So biologically, to feel the fear of disapproval feels like life-threatening. It's quite deep in our biological system. The middle one, the healthily dependent, what happens is that you ask advice from this person, from that person, and then you decide for yourself. So you inform yourself and then you decide. So it's quite an independent, mature way of living your life. The third one is being too independent causes a fear of disappointment and rejection. Maybe it's the cause of it. So when you're too independent, it's because you've had so much disappointment. Your mother wasn't there when you came home with your drawing. You were so proud of it, but she wasn't home. When she came home, she was too tired to even bother look at it. She just looked at one second, oh yeah, that's a nice one. And then please go to your room. So being neglected causes, well, it gives you this fear of feeling this disappointment again. So then you don't want to come near any more disappointment. So you don't want to deal with people. You don't want to have help of people. You don't want to ask people for anything. You're very independent, but it's because of this fear of disappointment, which can be really painful. And the same is for the fear of rejection, because rejection is, again, like this herd of animals. When you're thrown out of the herd, when you're rejected, biologically it feels like life-threatening. So to avoid all that, you become too independent. One step further is when you have this fear of disapproval, so that's the first way to grow up, you become passive. You're so afraid of being disapproved again. Oh, what you have cooked it doesn't taste good, so we won't eat it. Or you have done this job, but couldn't you get a better job? So every step you want to make is fearful, because you might get some comments on it or disapproval from your parents, and that makes you passive. So in the end, it can make you passive. So you're fearful of making any more steps because you always be commented upon. And yeah, that's what happens when you are controlled too much. The second one, the leveled out one, is asking advice, decide for yourself. That is an active way of living your life, because you keep on moving, and when it's good, you just keep on going. When it's not good, you can ask for help, and then you start again. And the third one is when you live in this fear of disappointment and rejection, you also become passive. So then you see what has happened from your childhood. Either you're active or you're passive. And when you're passive, it can have two different causes. I hope you can write with me quickly. If you cannot write it quickly enough, you can always start this video again and then just pause it with the, I think it's the space bar. Just pause it and then you can write it down in your own tempo. Now I'm going to look at the inner ideal father. So if you have had father or mother that weren't ideal, nobody has them. Fathers and mothers, they just do what they do. Nobody has education to be a father or mother, so just, yeah, whatever they do is what they have done. And that's it. Basically, that's it. You can't do anything about it. But you can create your own ideal father or mother. No, both father and mother inside you. So suppose we're going to do it now. So suppose you would build your own ideal father in you. Now, what would an ideal father do? What do men, this is a particular male character quality, what does a man do? What does a father do, which is very positive? I'll show you. An ideal father encourages you, activates you, challenges you, says things like, yes, you can do it. I know you can. Go on and give it another shot. Keep going. Climb a little bit higher. Go faster. So they encourage you to go beyond your limits and improve yourself all the time. That's an ideal father. They just activate you. When you go too far, for example, you climb too high or you go too fast with a bike or whatever, they will set boundaries and will protect you. So they will say something like, oh, whoa, stop climbing now, come down slowly now. So they are authoritative at that moment and they set boundaries. No further now, be safe. And I always imagine like an ideal father would be like a knight in shining armor with a sword, and they come towards you and, no, not towards you, but they come in front of you and they slay whoever is in front of you and they will protect you against whatever danger. So that's how I imagine an ideal father. They will always protect you. Isn't that lovely? So an ideal father encourages you, activates you, but also protects you. Now, when you do the 9 steps, with step 7, fulfill basic needs, that's where you fulfill this basic need that you've missed from your own father, from your biological father, and you will fulfill it inside you. So the encouragement that you have missed, you will fulfill it inside you. The activation that you've missed, the challenges that you've missed from your father, you will fulfill it inside you, in your subconscious. So that's what gives this really strong inner peace. Being set boundaries, being able to set boundaries for yourself, to be able to protect yourself. The protection you've missed in your childhood, you will fulfill it, so you'll be able to protect yourself or to ask for protection. So you will all fulfill this with step 7. Now let's have a look at the ideal mother. What does the ideal mother do? Now, when you look at the most wonderful mother you can imagine, what would she do? How would she behave towards you? What is this beautiful female quality of a mother? How would she behave? I'll give you an example. She will give you security. and tenderness and warmth and safety. She will hold you and you will feel like you're, as if you are in a, I don't know how to say this, as if you are in a sort of cushion of feathers, and it's warm and it's comforting. Oh yeah, that's the other one. It's comforting, healing, relaxing. So that's what an ideal mother does. She gives you this area of tranquility and peacefulness. So that's a wonderful, beautiful quality of a mother. And she may have this really soft voice and say to you, oh, why don't you come here? Rest a bit. Just lean your head against my shoulder. I'll hold you. And everything's fine. No worries. You can calm down now and just let me hold you. And then she just stops talking. She is just warmth for you. So that's what an ideal mother would do. Now, when you do step 7, you will fulfill these basic needs as well. So the need for security, for tenderness, for warmth, for safety, for comforting, for healing, for relaxation. These are all basic needs and you will all fulfill them. So you will heal inside you this longing for this ideal mother that nobody of us has ever had. But we will create it inside us. So this ideal mother will be there. I'm going to take it one more step further, make it a little bit more practical. How to create this ideal mother or father inside you? That's by talking within yourself. When you have a problem, when you worry about something, you can ask yourself, what would my ideal father do? How would he handle this? What would he advise me? And then what an ideal father would say, for example, is, listen, you just have to, if you want to apply for a job, for example, and you know that you do have the experience, but you don't have the certificates or the diplomas for it, then you don't know what to do. And you ask your ideal father, oh, what should I do? And then your ideal father would say, listen, you just have to pick up the phone, dial this number, and then just say, look, I'm very qualified for this job. I just don't have the diplomas. Just do it. So, for example, or this one, why don't you just go over there, talk to them, show who you are, and ask them to give a demonstration that you can show the skills that you have. So the key word here, what an ideal father is the word just. Why don't you just? You just have to. So with this little word just, they make it very light. So it activates you. An ideal father would activate you, would give you wind under your wings and you could go, you could fly. So they activate you. Now what would an ideal mother do? She would be really soft and embracing, and she would say something like, do you know what would be good for you? Do you know what really would be good for you? And then she would, for example, say something like, why don't you sleep over it? So she would give you this peacefulness, this patience, this blanket of trust, and gives you, I put this here with an arrow in front of it. She gives you this rest and softness towards yourself so that you can sort of relax inside yourself and your subconscious first before you are with your head trying to decide something. So she makes you go back inside yourself and find this peace of mind or peace of heart, so that after that you can make decisions from your wisdom, from your heart, not from your head. Now the father and the mother, what they both always say is, it's gonna be all right. So the father gives you activation, say, why don't you just pick up the phone or go over there, just go over there. It's gonna be all right. So that's what the ideal father does. And the ideal mother says, you know, just why don't you just rest your head and lie down for a bit, or make yourself a cup of tea and sit down for a bit. It's gonna be all right. So this little sentence is a key phrase that you really can use every day. It's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. And that's something that really gives you a sense of basis. It gives you sense of, it's opposite anxiety. So it brings down all this anxiety. Now what you also can do is, what I'd like to, let me just put my face bigger. Yes. So what I would like to do too is help you to make it a bit stronger. And what you can do is create an image inside yourself of this ideal father. What would he look like? What kind of clothes does he have on? What do his eyes look like? What's the color of his eyes? What kind of hair does he have? And how does he behave towards you? How does he behave when he activates you or encourages you? So what would your ideal father look like? And how does his voice sound? So when you do that, when you visualize it, it makes it easier to talk to your ideal father inside you when you need it. You can also give this person a first name. So when you give your father a first name, I'm not going to give an example, just give him a first name, and then you talk to your father knowing his first name. That also makes it like another personality that you can talk to. Same goes for the mother. Just imagine what she would look like. What would your ideal mother look like? How would she behave? How would her voice sound like? My ideal mother is this like fairy type of lady. She's a real lady, and she has all these long drapes of clothing or a dress with these lovely light colors, and then she would move very slowly, and she would have this really lovely warm voice, always talking slowly, like, it's gonna be all right. Why don't you lay down for a bit and make yourself a cup of tea? Just let it rest for a bit. Just let it simmer. The answers will come. She's such a lovely mother. So when you create this inside yourself, you will become more, how can I say that? You'll become more, I know the Dutch word. Dutch word is slagvaardig. You will be able to create more and to be much more loving to yourself, and you'll be able to go across the problems in life when you have your ideal father and mother at hand. So just play with this and have fun with it, and see how they can inspire you and how they can support you in everything that you're going through. Yeah. Okay, we're going to do the 9 steps now of the MIR method. So I've created with you this ideal father and mother, and now we're going to integrate them in the 9 steps, which makes it much stronger. And of course, with step 3, we detach your biological parents so that they are out of your system. The contact will be better, but it's no longer important what they do. It's much more important how you deal with your own personal ideal father and ideal mother, so you can guide yourself. All right, I'm going to show you the 9 steps. What I would like you to do is caress your hand really gently, really kind, because you are very valuable. Once you find out that you are a, how do you say it, piece of a chain, when you realize you are very important for whole of humanity, that everything that you change inside yourself changes the world around you, when you start realizing that, you start realizing how valuable you are. So please caress your hand, understanding and feeling how valuable you are. And then we'll start with step 1. Here we go. Optimize acidity. Optimize acidity. Optimize acidity. Detox all toxicity. Detox all toxicity. Detox all toxicity. Detach father. Detach father. Detach father. Detach mother. Detach mother. Detach mother. Clear meridians. Clear meridians. Clear meridians. Supplement all shortages. Supplement all shortages. Supplement all shortages. Balance hormone system. Balance hormone system. Balance hormone system. Fulfill basic needs. Fulfill basic needs. Fulfill basic needs. Optimize chakras and aura. Optimize chakras and aura. Optimize chakras and aura. Clarify mission. Clarify mission. Clarify mission. Yes, wonderful. I always wait a bit until everybody has completed the 9 steps and until everybody has completed yawning or sighing. You don't have to yawn or sighing, but very often that's what they experience, so they start to relax. So I wait a bit until everybody is finished. Wonderful, wonderful. This gives a ripple again in the whole of humanity. So thank you for healing yourself and for healing people around you by healing yourself. I love this idea. It's wonderful, isn't it? Every time we make a little step towards world peace, because we are drawing it nearer and nearer. Great. Okay, I needed to say something more. Let's have a look. Oh yeah. If you want to be a MIR-Method coach, what you could do, or if you are a therapist or a coach, you can look at the additional techniques course. It's on the English website. And then you learn the first aid technique, which is very useful in your practice or for yourself. When you are injured or you have sudden ailments, you can use this first aid immediately. It's also very useful with strong emotions like fear or intense sadness or anger. You can use this technique as well. You can treat bacteria and viruses. You don't have to be ill from bacteria and viruses ever again when you use this technique. And very important, you need to understand that you need to treat yourself every hour when you're feeling shivery from fever. Very important. And another technique is the side effects of medication. So if you use medications or you have a new one, or you use supplements, or you have injections, or like in the hospital, I don't know what's called, the intubed fluids, you can treat that so that everything that comes into your body will be in harmony with your body, and all the chemicals that come in, they will leave your body. So it's very interesting to learn this technique. Yeah, those are the most important ones. There's another one, another course, it's the deep understanding of the MIR-Method, and then you'll learn how the system of the 9 steps works and how it was developed and what is all behind it. So every step has another kind of world behind it, which is interesting to understand. If you would like, please leave a comment on the website. I'd like to know how you experienced it, what it did for you. and you can write it on MIR-Method.com/webinar-dependent. So if you would like to do that, I would be very happy to read it and to see how you have been doing. Okay, I hope this will do you much good. I hope you will enjoy your coming 2 weeks and feel you get healthier every day. And yes, I wish you good luck, and everything that you learn, please pass it on to other people so that we build up everybody. Okay, I hope to see you again within 2 weeks' time. Have a great day or a great night, whatever your coming hours are. And I wish you all the best. Please drink some water and please add some sea salt. Very important. After every time that you join me in the webinar, please drink some water, because you might start to detox extra. So please drink water and please add some sea salt. Okay, wishing you all the best and very good health, and like to see you again within 2 weeks' time. Until then, bye-bye!